ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. As you all know, we have developed into our Temporal Forces content, and we've made a lot of videos already about the top 20 best cards, a buy list. We talked about the best decks, what is being played in Japan, etc. So everything you need to know, there's already videos about it on the channel. So if you're looking for more Temporal Forces content, be sure to check out some other videos. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors which make this video possible. DragonShield.com. You can get 5% off if you're heading over to the website DragonShield.com and use the coupon ZapdosTCG on everything, whether you're looking for sleeves, binders, or deck boxes. You can use that coupon code. Then there's yourplaymat.com. You can click that link down below and you automatically will get 10% off when creating your own custom playmat. They ship worldwide, so definitely check it out. There's PotalStore.com. If you're looking for TCG live code cards, they have multiple of them on the website. Whether you look for specific promo codes or whatever, you can use the coupon ZapdosTCG for 5% off. And there's always CARDMARKET.com for European players, where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. With that being said, today we're going to be doing something fun here because I'm eagerly awaiting the release on Temporal Forces on TCG Live very shortly. That's going to be in about 10 days, so I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be making lots of battle videos about all the great decks to prepare everyone for EOIC, the European and International Tournament over in London. I'll be attending that tournament as well, so I'm actually currently fighting for my top 22 in Europe currently. I'm 24th, so we'll need to step up my game a little bit, so we'll see how that ends at the end of the season. With that being said, today we're checking out ACE SPEC cards. ACE SPEC cards return to the game with Temporal Forces. They made their debut all the way back in black and white in the Plasma era, and now they will see a return here with, of course, Temporal Forces being released worldwide on March 22nd. ACE SPEC cards are one-off cards you can have in your entire deck. Very similar to Radiant cards in that sense. You can only select one, and that's about it. So if you have ACE SPEC, an ACE SPEC card of your choice, make sure it is the correct one for your deck, because you have a lot of options, to be honest, but you can only have one in your entire deck. Today we're going to be ranking these ACE SPEC cards with my personal opinion combined with tournament success over in Japan. So it's going to be a little bit of mixture of both, because all of these eventually will see play, because ACE SPEC cards are just that damn good. And the S tier is going to be formidably the best ACE SPEC of the bunch. Then we have A tier, very solid ones, and tier 1 or tier 2 decks. Tier B is an average card that doesn't see that much play, and then tier C is like the worst ACE SPECs of the bunch. So with that being said, if you want to create your own tier list, there's a link down below if you want to rank your own ACE SPECs. Don't forget to give me a shout out over on Twitter or whatever with your results of using the tier list here. So with that being said, let's just get out of the way. Is that Prime Catcher, I think, is an S tier ACE SPEC card. It is pretty much two cross switchers combined into one card. Very nice. It sees play in Charizard decks, in chien-pao's deck, and like almost any deck out there. If you don't know which ACE SPEC card to choose, you cannot go wrong with Prime Catcher. It's pretty much a Guzma if you've been playing during the Burning Shadows days, and it actually is just that good. They have a switch and a boss into one item card. That's just crazy good. You can also fetch this with stuff like Irida or Arven. So if you're playing Arven or Irida builds, you're going to be loving a Prime Catcher, because it turns those supporters into gusting supporters. So you need a little bit less Bossasaurus to win games. Arven will be sufficient, or Irida as well, to fetch these. I also love the fact that Prime Catcher with Canceling Cologne, my favorite combo at post rotation, is going to be so good. It's easy to pull off. Let's say you're playing 2 copies of Cologne and you're managing to draw into a Cologne. Well, you just use the Irida, boom, you have your Prime Catchers. Just easy to get the combo going, definitely in decks like chien-pao, for example. So I put that at S tier. Also, you'll see some ACE SPEC cards that have not been released or will not release in Temporal Forces. That will be for our upcoming set, but I've already included 2 ACE SPECs in this tier list just to have a little bit of agenda. So with that being said, our next one is going to be the Neo Upper Energy. This is an interesting one. It actually allows you to your stage 2 Pokemon like a double rainbow energy. So that's pretty interesting, right? I could see it being used in stuff like Blastoise EX, etc. Or maybe even Tyranitar EX. Like specific decks out there could use this, but I haven't seen any successful build with upper energy. It's also very difficult to find a card like this. The only way you could find is like with something like a Forest Seal Stone, but finding a special energy from your deck, very difficult to pull off, and you only have a one-off in your deck. So I currently put this in tier C. I haven't seen a lot of results for it just yet. Then we are going with a Reboot bot, putting that in the B category. It allows you to accelerate an energy from your discard pile to all of your future Pokemon any way you like. So for every future Pokemon you have in play, you can accelerate an energy from the discard pile to it, a basic energy for that matter. And I have seen uses of this in like the future box decks out there. Definitely in future box decks this is great, but more and more the future box decks are turning into Turbo Iron Hands and Friends deck. So that's why I'm putting it in the B category. It is a strong initial card, but it is being overplayed. Like in the Turbo future box decks that I was talking about with Iron Hands, they are now playing Prime Catcher instead. So Reboot bot might not see its true potential until we get like more and more future Pokemon out there. But a solid energy acceleration card. You need the energies in the discard pile, which also makes it a little bit tricky. If it was from the deck, it was definitely a tier S deck, but it is from the discard pile, so making that a little bit more tricky. Moving forward, we're going to be putting Heroescape in tier A. I think Heroescape giving 100 additional HP to a Pokemon without a downside is just crazy to think about. This Heroescape is being used with decks formidably like tanking decks. Think about Snorlax block, the control-ish archetype. You can also put Heroescape onto the EX Pokemon, which makes it crazy. Can you imagine you're playing Heroescape and suddenly your Charizard EX has 100 additional HP, putting it into 430 HP category? I know. If people are not playing Lost Vacuum, this tool card is insane. I've seen it being played in Snorlax block. I've seen it in Great Tusk deck. I see it in like Gardevoir decks post-rotation, even though Gardevoir has lost a lot of its power. Heroescape definitely puts in some work because it can help with Scream Tail as well as help with the Drifloon, so you can damage more. And the cool thing with Heroescape is that it's universally, so you could also put this on a Gardevoir EX to make it more tanky so the opponent cannot easily gust and knock it out. So 100 additional HP without a downside is just very good to pass up. I know Prime Catcher is currently the better ACE SPEC of the bunch, but having 100 additional HP definitely in like milling and controlling archetypes just to tank an additional hit is definitely very, very good. I'm putting it in the A category. I am definitely sure of that. Next up, Drum of Awakening, putting that in tier B. The Drum of Awakening allows you to draw a card for every ancient Pokemon you have in play. So initially, if you have 6 ancient Pokemon in play, you draw 6 with an item card. Drawing cards with an item card is insane. Think about Acrobike or Trekking Shoes, or yeah, there's any item that draws cards is always seeing play. And we will see the seeing play in ancient box decks that rely on Koraidon and the baby Roaring Moon. But the reason why it's only tier B is that you don't always have the need for it. I know you don't have like a draw engine into the ancient box decks out there, but you randomly draw into it. I know it's a consistency booster, but sometimes in the early phase of the game, you draw into this and you just slap it down, you just draw 2 or just draw 3 at average. Sometimes that is just not enough in my book, so I'm putting it in tier B for now as an ACE SPEC card. It's a very cool card, but it's not as powerful as the ones above it. Moving forward, we're talking about Maximum Belt, also a very busted tier A ACE SPEC card, allowing you to slap 50 damage, additional damage to your opponent's active EX. So you can slap that EX for a 50 additional damage. This is being played in a whole plethora of decks. I could think about Arceus V-Star with Giratina. Now Giratina with the Maximum Belt equipped can now hit for 330 damage with its powerful Lost Impact attack. Also Arceus, which before was not able to deal with any aggressive EX decks, think about chien-pao Roaring Moon, now Arceus can become the aggressor. With a Maximum Belt and a double turbo energy, the Trinity Nova actually slaps 230 damage against EX Pokemon. So that means Miraidon EX gets knocked out, Roaring Moon EX gets knocked out, chien-pao EX gets knocked out, the list goes on. Arceus can now use this Maximum Belt to its advantage. Also, decks like Charizard, if they're not running the powerful Prime Catcher, let's say they don't use that, they can also head for the Maximum Belt to slap more damage with Charizard easier. Not only does this help in the mirror match to easily one-shot a Charizard EX when you in the past had to rely on something like a Defiance Band, you can now go with Maximum Belt also in the early game to just knock out stuff like a Rotom. Actually, not Rotom because that is a V Pokemon, don't get it confused, but you can knock out stuff like chien-pao. For example, the Charizard uses the Maximum Belt, you can now hit for, yeah, the crazy damage output, 230 on EX Pokemon. So Charizard can become the aggressor against Roaring Moon, chien-pao, etc. So Maximum Bells is going to be a very solid card for sure. I'm putting in the A category for ACE SPEC cards, but it only works against EX Pokemon. There's still a couple of Vs around. Think about Lugia, think about Arceus. So it will not work against everything in the format, but Maximum Bell is definitely a strong ACE SPEC nonetheless. Then Master Ball, I'll put that in tier B. The reason why I'm putting it in tier B is that only Lugia currently uses this. I would have put it in tier C if Lugia didn't use this because it's the only deck that relies on Master Ball. I know it brings additional consistency, allowing you to search your deck for any Pokemon you want, whether you're looking for an evolution Pokemon, whether you're looking for a basic, whatever you need, Master Ball can fetch it and put it in hand. So it is a strong ace pack in that sense, definitely because we're losing powerful cards like Battle VIP Pass, etc. Also stuff like Level Ball is gone. So I might not be surprised if like decks like a Gardevoir also might grab towards the Master Ball just for consistency purposes, even though Hero Escape is better in that. But Master Ball currently only seen play in Lugia, and that's the only reason why we're putting it in tier B, because if Lugia wasn't using this, it was a useless ace pack. But Lugia just wants to have those Archeops in hand so you can discard them with the means of stuff like Serena, Professor's Research, Ultra Ball, Squawkabilly, you name it. You want to have the Archeops, and this actually searches out an Archeops from deck, or in the later stages could fetch out a Chinchino as well. So yeah, Master Ball tier B for me. Then we are moving to two new ace pack cards that I currently don't know if they will be so busted. We have the Unfair Stamp, and people might wonder, Unfair Stamp, what does that actually do? Well, that's what you're here for, to learn about the Pokemon TCG every single time. So the Unfair Stamp is an ace pack card that you can only play if one of your Pokemon got knocked out during the opponent's last turn. If that happens, each player shuffles their hand into their deck, and then you draw 5, the opponent only draws 2. In my opinion, that's clearly an S tier ace pack and contention with Prime Catcher, because of the fact that Unfair Stamp can definitely win and win yourself games. Let's say your first Pokemon gets knocked out, boom, you put the opponent to 2 cards. You can even combo that with, like, I could see stuff like Arbok EX working out, where you discard some cards from the opponent's hand. You could also use this with Eerie. Unfair Stamp into Eerie, bam, off you go. The opponent is not able to play the game. You put the opponent without cards, and that's just insane. If you put the opponent in tap deck mode, if they haven't established something like a B Barrel or something that can draw cards on board, they will lose the game because they're in top deck mode, and that's just how you run away with games. We've seen this countless amounts of times with Roxanne. But now this is an item card, and also gives you a fresh hand as well. So not only is this going to be a draw supporter, in that sense it's an item, but it gives you draw, gets you a fresh hand of 5 cards. You put the opponent to 2 cards, and they might actually brick from that. So this is probably going to be even better than Prime Catcher in certain decks out there. Rest assured, this is a super powerful ace pack card. I'll put that in tier S, and it will come out not in Temporal Forces, but the sets after that. Then continuing on with our last one, it's going to be Survival Cost. If you have been playing a little bit during the days with Focus Sash, this might seem familiar. If the Pokemon this card is attached to has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that Pokemon is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10, then discard this card. Okay, so it's pretty much Focus Sash and an ace pack card, but it works on everything. So yeah, I'll put this, this is an interesting one, right? Because leaving yourself with 10 HP remaining, you prevent the opponent from taking a knockout during that specific turn. It only works if they one-shot you, and if they have to two-shot you, you already do great stuff as well. I'll put this in tier A, because I definitely think decks will definitely use this. I know you discard it, so maybe you combine this with something like Silene and Palpat and Team Yell's Cheer, and you have yourself a loop where you continuously cannot get one-shotted. You also have some pennies thrown up in the loop right there. So if they like go for the 2-shot, you can penny it up. If they go for the 1-shot, you can get one-shotted. It's insane, and I could see some evil decks using this strategy. But as mentioned, Lost Vacuum and direct counter for a card like this, where you vacuum away it, they cannot recover it with stuff like Silene, etc. So yeah, there is a direct counter, but in theory, it seems like a strong ACE SPEC card nonetheless. So this is my current tier list for the ACE SPEC cards. Are you happy that ACE SPEC cards are returning to the Pokemon TCG? If you are, let me know down below. Which card are you looking forward to the most from these ACE SPEC cards? And are there any one of the ACE SPEC cards you will put higher or lower upon the tier list? I really want to know your opinion down below. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out the channel so much, and I appreciate it always. And then, of course, be sure to check out my sponsors for today's video. DragonShield.com to get 5% off on sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. YourPlaymat.com to get 10% off when creating your own custom playmat. PokemonStore.com to create your account on TCG Live and get tons and tons of TCG codes loaded into your account so you can start playing competitively over at TCG Live. And there's also CARDMARKET for European players. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with Pokemon TCG content with Temporal Forces thrown up in the mix. I'm still brainstorming about ideas. If you have ideas for me, let me know down below in the comments as well. Have yourself a good one. Peace.